Hey folks, yep, we're not done here with the Commodore 64. I had to bust it out, I think, for the last time, I hope. But anyway, yes, this is Let's Play Every Star Wars Game Ever. And Commodore 64, I've learned, is a game of patience. By the way, this is now what the game sounds like not being in warp mode. This is what it sounds like when the game is working. Interestingly enough, this actually shows you how many blocks it has left to load, so once that gets down to 0, we'll be ready to play the game. Oh my god, if you thought, like, the modem dialing... This takes me back. Like, the modem dialing up sound was bad. This is pure torture. How hilarious, though, is it that at the bottom they... programmers, can you program to our standards? Can you... can you produce terrible... background noise like this, terrible white noise? If you want to, join our fast-growing development team. I don't think I've ever seen a game that advertises job opportunities on the home screen. You can send your CV or a sample, and I really want to know if this, I know this company still exists, System 3 Software. Whether or not that right there is their address, I don't know. I kind of hope it is. But let's bust this into warp mode real quick. There we go. So here we are playing Deathstar Interceptor. Now, you'll notice the copyright date on this says 1984. I'm not quite sure why that is. It might be one of those weird, what do you call it? You know, this was ported onto several different systems, like the Z Spectrum and maybe the Atari ST, I'm not quite sure, but the Commodore 64 is the most stable for me, so I'm sticking with that. Speaking of, I gotta switch keyboard settings here, breaking the illusion. Because my buttons aren't working. Let's try that again. So I was really not sure if I was gonna play this game for the for this Let's Play, because it's not officially a Star Wars game. I know you see Deathstar Interceptor and you think, well, how is that not Star Wars? Boy, you'll be ready. Be ready for this. This one is a doozy. This I've had to tinker around with. I'm just pressing a bunch of keys on my keyboard. I don't know if it's really just like a randomly generated thing where you have to actually guess what the security code is, but D and S always seems to work, and I think E worked. Our mission, penetrate the Death Star defenses and score a direct hit on the exhaust port to destroy Death Star. Sounds pretty Star Wars-y, right? Nothing too shocking there. Although, if you're an avid fan of Star Wars, you would know that Death Star is two separate words, not one compound word like that. Well, this is just where the problems begin with this game. It's one of those games where... here's our enemies. We have the Tri-Sphere, the Droid Jet, the Beta Fighter, the Attack Pod. Remember all those from the movies? Yeah, exactly. So this was kind of one of those examples where, they didn't... Oh, by the way, there we go. We will activate our latest Earth Defense Shield, so we're protecting Earth. So it's one of those where it's like 10% Star Wars, but they changed it just enough so that they weren't violating copyright. Yes. So it's Death Star as one word is not the same as Death Star, two separate words, because that's owned by Lucasfilm and everything. But here's the game with even greater sound. And there's Earth spinning over there. So for a long time, I thought, for a long time, like I was playing this for years or something. I played this for about 15 minutes. This has got to be, I think, the worst Star Wars game I've played thus far. But again, maybe we can't even say it's really a Star Wars game because it's not really officially licensed. But it was close enough. It was just, basically, it was so bad I had to share it. So I can only move along the bottom. I can't move up or down. Which gets really crappy when sometimes ships will just, like, sort of pin you to the bottom. You can see there's lives at the bottom, there's shields. This guy's probably gonna get me. No, maybe not. Okay. Oh, God, I hate... God, this game It's got to have some of the worst sound I've ever played in. I mean, even forgiving that this is, you know, the mid-'80s and everything, it's so bad. So bad. And the graphics are not great either. One thing I will say is, from pictures that I've seen, I think the Z Spectrum version, try and find a picture, does have what looks like TIE fighters, but even in the game they're called something else. But they really played it safe on this version by just making up these quote-unquote ships. Why there's atomic symbols floating around, I don't know how they justified that. Oh my god, really? So I just lost 2 lives. And of course, here's the iconic trench run, which looks equally god-awful. If not more so, because it's really hard to even see the ships. But it's the same thing, all I can do is really drift on the bottom and shoot. Not surprisingly, this is this company's first game, but they are still making games today. I actually went to their website, System 3. I didn't really recognize any of the games that they're making today, but it seems like now they do a lot more. What do you call it? What do you call that genre of game? I don't play them very often. Like Sid Meier's, like Civilization. You know, those kind of like real-time strategy. God, why couldn't I think of that? It looks like they focus more on that these days, but also this oh boy, yeah, here we go. So now here's some very difficult dodging, although it usually just kind of alternates left to right. Of course, I just can't run into these, I don't know, barriers, I guess. God, I'm really considering just putting this on mute. Although, I hate doing that with Let's Plays because it's really hard to balance voice and sound when there's no sound from the game, and then my voice sounds terrible and I gotta do a lot of editing. So, I don't know what's more painful, doing all the editing or just listening to this. To even call it white noise is is too gracious to the idea of white noise. God, this goes on forever. Alright. I'm feeling like I'm probably not gonna make it to the exhaust port at the end of this, because I had those bullshit, like, 2 lives taken from me on the first stage, which should totally not have happened. Although I'm looking out here fighting these... Oh. Jinxed it. Got 2 hits left. So I gotta really play it safe. But then there's like... this is the least of my worries though, because then we're gonna have like rockets coming from the bottom of the screen, which of course is the worst since you are permanently stuck to the bottom. You can't see them when they're coming anyway. God, how many of these? This is riveting, I know. Totally riveting. Here we go. Okay, so now we got rockets coming from the bottom. But you can't really see them until they're right under you, literally, because you're stuck to the bottom of the screen, and apparently I got hit. Game over. Well, anyway, you reach the end of the trench, and you fire the thing, and it does a blow up, and you win. And then it does it over and over. Earth Defense Council salutes your bravery and skill in the face of most awesome odds. Earth's greatest hero, an immortal interceptor. Great. I don't know why all the letters aren't working. My name is now C. C? I'll just go with that. That's fine. So... this has been Deathstar Interceptor. Oh god, it's making me play it again. I'm not going to subject you guys to this. There's really nothing else to say about this game. Deathstar Interceptor, not an official Star Wars game, but I don't know, close enough. As always, thanks for watching. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. I do always appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time as we take on what, well, originally I thought it was the worst Star Wars game ever, but I think the next one might be giving it a run for its money, so stick around for that. Yes, again, as always, thanks for watching, and until next time, may the Force be with you.